Hi guys, Jailer 2, the teaser announcing the commencement of the film shooting has got lots of views. People are excited. Even northern Hindi belt, lots of people they know Rajini since so many years ago. However, it seems like Tamil film producers are repeatedly insistent on getting the OTT out in 4 weeks and therefore missing out on a lot of theatre chains in the north. Even small industry producers like Kannada Film, KGF, and so on, they made the effort in Hindi. So the Tamil producers' hesitation seems very curious. The one time they tried recently, I believe, for the film Kangua, it flopped spectacularly. But hopefully and most likely, the caliber of Jailer team and Rajini is such that they should perform much better. So, why I want to comment about this JLA universe? One thing interesting is that this film plays to the strengths of both the what do you call it main participant in this film, namely Rajinikanth. His swag, his screen presence, his ability to carry a scene and so on is used to the maximum. And also Nelson's deadpan humor, dark humor as they call it. So that is also explored. So both of them did not give up their own authenticity in trying to make a blockbuster hit, right? So if you see films like Baahubali, RR by Rajamouli, Prasant Neil's works, KGF, and so on, you find that people are the artists are communicating authentically about what they feel and what they are about. They're not trying to impersonate or copy anybody else. The thing with Rajinikanth I find interesting is that, or even I can put it as a question to him whether he is always having some kind of inferiority complex, right? Uh, it can be good having inferiority complex because you're always alert, you're always cautious, you're not overconfident, and thus fall off the rails. And also probably it keeps you humble, which is one of the big prerequisites to continuously have the support of all the many people who you need to work with you in order to be a successful hero, and that too over so many years. Okay, so but the downside of being a bit how to say lacking in confidence is that what happens is you don't believe in yourself, right? I mean, could anybody even think of superstar Rajinikanth not believing in himself? I mean, he's like the most iconic, the most self-confident person on the screen. But why this thing comes in is because over the so many years, he's reaching 50th year already in the cinema industry. Whenever a trend or what comes in, he seems to be oftentimes under pressure, or he pressurizes himself to try to follow that trend, whereas he doesn't need to do that. He can maintain his authenticity. Maybe he can sort of incorporate the newer technologies, for example mocobot and all these CGI and so on, where needed, but he does not have to lose his way of making a movie. He doesn't have to like try to mimic and exactly make a Bahubali type film to now make a 1,000 crore or blockbuster, right? So Jailer maintains him as he is, so that's why I think that it can has the capacity to do so well. In the past, if you want me to give me examples of where Rajini had sort of allowed either Rajini or the director did not persuade Rajini enough to be original. For example, in the film Basha, which is a kind of modification, a very successful modification of the film Hum by Amitabh Bachchan. There is a song sequence where Rajini is literally dressed up as Michael Jackson. Even Chiranjeevi did that with Michael Jackson's style and clothing in the 80s. So, absolutely no need to do that. People love them for what they are. They don't need to sort of go and mimic another star in another country to get validation or to get support from the fans. So those are the things that sort of grinds my gears, right? And again, in Basha, they use Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger's background music. I mean, I'm sure Indian music directors can make good music. Why they take this shortcut of taking things somewhere and putting it here? I really don't know. In some situations, maybe you can argue, maybe it's like a very special kind of thing and all that. But you'll still come back to the question of why do the people behind the scenes don't give a chance to our artists? I do believe that more often than not, the music directors or the uh, uh, directors or the dance masters and all are put under pressure, or even the clothing designers are put under pressure to follow a certain trend created by stars in the West or Korea or name it, you name it, right? So I'll give you another example. There was a film in 1993 by Rajinikanth called Ejaman, and the director made previously a successful village-themed film with Vijay called Chinna Counter. And if you look at Ejaman, it's almost like a photocopy. They keep a lot of similar things and so on. So the movie to me was not one of Rajini's best. It's okay. It's not a bad movie, but it could have been much better, right? So these are places where we feel that the potential of Rajini was let down. Another example is the super duper hit film Chandramukhi, which is like something Rajini took as a kind of a, he needed a guaranteed hit. So he, in a sense, again, you can say rather than being authentic, he sort of took a proven story that was a hit in all the southern languages. So there was a bit of a shortcut in that, but they poured in a lot of effort to give it the uniqueness. The Vadivelu's comedies and Rajini bringing in his style, persona, and so on into it. Definitely, those things were there. It was not like a lazy copy, right? Hence, he did so well. But yeah, he sort of, it was not original, right? In that movie also they kept a song called Annanoda Pattu, which is like some kind of a band, marching band kind of song, and it was literally inspired by Vijay's film Gilly, where they had a similar song which became very popular. So they felt it was a trend at that time, everybody liked it, so let's do something like very similar to that. Probably the music director had instruction from either Rajini himself or at least with Rajini's agreement, because it's possible that things get through Rajini's film without Rajini's agreement, either him being persuaded or he himself wanting such a thing. So I'm just hoping that more and more moving forward in the future, Rajini will try to keep putting his own stamp, his own stylistic efforts into films, and not succumb to this let's copy A, B, C because that other film was successful kind of way of doing things. That's exactly the opposite of what fans want from him. So since these two artists are now being their authentic selves, Anirudh, of course, he's got a major problem with accusations of lifting music, popular music elsewhere and sort of just fitting it in. But as a caveat, we have to say that he puts in a lot of work to elevate whatever base work that's been done, right? The recent disco trailer fiasco in Coolies, right? When they initially launched the teaser, Ilayaraja, the original music director of that song in Tangaman Magan, was not so happy at them having used modified that music, but having used it. But music director Deva was cooperative with Anirudh to put in work and remix the Annamalai song that Anirudh wanted to use in the film Darbar. So Anirudh is a great remix artist, like many of the modern artists, like Puff Diddy, sorry, and who are the other famous remixes? All the DJs and so on, right? They like to remix music and make them attractive. They take old samples. Lots of hip hop artists do that. So it's like that. It's like a thing now. It's like the way the modern generation's mind works. So whether you want to say Ani is good or not, that I leave it up to you. But I would love to hear any original kind of work that Ani does. His time is very limited. I don't know whether that's the reason why he just decided to take existing songs and polish them up. He has all these concerts to go on. Even Nelson, in his sarcasm in those small teaser videos, he mentions that. And whatever little times he has to compose for music, he has to do multiple projects with often big stars. So again, guarantee of a hit is always a pressure for these top performing artists, right? One very good example I can give you by a co-megastar that will probably act with Rajini in the film Coolie. Let me give you that example. He tried to take Forrest Gump and Indianize it, right? Film which did quite well in the West, in Hollywood. Sound like a sure shot kind of a thing, despite Robert Downey Jr. talking about going full retard in the movie Tropic Thunder, where he mentions never go full retard. Yeah, I guess it's true, because Amir Khan's film performed very poorly. Again, showing us that what worked for A might not necessarily work for B. This reminds me of the fairy tale. Remember the axe guy with the axe? He goes and the axe drops in the river. The genie asks him, "Is this the golden one is yours?" He says, "No." The diamond one is no. He only wants his wooden axe. So the genie, impressed, gives him all three axes. So he gets the gold everything. Then other people try to copy the whole thing and then they screw up. So that's a good fairy tale example that we should not want or copy what others have, because their circumstances are unique. What made them make that kind of a film, their background, like S. Rajamouli has his father who is a great story writer, and Rajamouli also tells story his own way, and he's gone through many iterations. He's been a movie maker for many years. He has his own sensibility on how to make a scene. He demands a lot of physicality from his heroes, so they got to have the mask and all that. Whereas Rajini is more of swag, style, the way he carries a scene and so on. So Rajini is different that way. And also, truthfully speaking, sometimes certain chemistry does not add up. Like a director might have a certain strong way of doing things, Rajini, but when it comes together, it sort of goes, how to say, goes to the dumps. Let's say a very good example, at least 50% of the fan is what Paranjit did with Rajini. He sort of his idea is all about so-called social justice, which we all doubt, because he's still living a luxury life and claiming that certain people are oppressed. That's irony. And he tried his best to deconstruct Rajini, and that I don't think that came out well for many people. So not all director and hero combo can create sparks, chemistry. Just like how Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol, that chemistry between the director and actor is very important. If they're able to blend it together without losing each of their touch, without both of them feeling unhappy in any way, then you get a blockbuster. It's all chemistry, guys. Right? So certain directors, like say Bala, with his the way he carries a movie and all, with all the disfigured actors and torturous events and scenes and all, might totally go against the grain of a Rajini film and what Rajini is about. So again, if Rajini were to want to follow trends and say, oh, I'll go with director Bala, things could have turned out very not so great for both of them. So luckily that didn't happen. But certain combinations like Maniratnam with Rajini all panned out very well, despite Talabadi being similar again genre with Nayagan, with Kamal. They sort of were going along the same lines. And I do have some concern about Rajini's coolie. Rajini sees that Lokesh Kanagaraj is making hit films with extreme violence and drug related topic, so they just twist it a bit with gold, and hopefully they don't just go down the same path but cover something new. We were excited about some rumors talking about time travel and all these things. Initially Lokesh Kanagaraj mentioned using IMAX and going to a few western countries for shooting and all, but it seems the most recent news just sounds like the project has been greatly scaled down. Duration has been greatly shortened so that they can deliver a product quickly. Most likely this is because of the recent trend of part 2 movies, where I guess Sun Pictures and all decided that let's just do a small scale Coolie part 1, and if it does well, we extend it to a part 2 with all the bells and whistles that Lokesh Kanagaraj wants, because they probably are worried that if they throw everything in the first part and it bombs, then they're going to lose lots of money, right? We already saw a lot of examples, Indian 2 and how to say Kangua and so on. So that's a smart move by Sun Pictures, can't blame them. And one more interesting thing about producing is that it's not about money. I thought it's all about money, but when I saw what happens to big producers like Laika and all, who can bring together expensive teams, but to the art of making people work together and creating great products with good marketing, that people with experience only can do that. People like Kalipuli, Dhanu, and Suresh Kamasi, those kind of individual producers who really have fought in the front lines of the cinema, rather than people who just have lots of money to throw, right? So never underestimate the power of the right producers. So Sun Pictures are decent producers, they are professionals. So probably Jailer 2, if they play their cards right, if they are willing to take a bit of a risk with giving longer Hindi run times, they might have they most likely will be the first team to cross 1,000 crores in Kollywood. Very long overdue, because Kollywood used to be the leader in South film industry, and they used to even challenge Bollywood in the 1990s with people like A.R. Rahman, Prabhu Deva, Maniratnam, the whole group. Films like Roja, Gentleman, Kadalan, and all these things were really even up to the Indiran and all, in those early 2000s, they were rocking it in Kollywood. However, after Rajamouli broke through with Baahubali, and then subsequently KGF, Kantara from Kannada film industry, and Malayalam film industry, you got Fahad Fasil. But Tamil industry is stuck with lots of Nepo kids and heroes who are more interested in getting more fans to hero worship them, rather than producing films which broaden the market. So it's like a downhill spiral. But since the old workhorses of Rajini and Kamal are still running, maybe they can in the interim keep the industry going until a true good quality new hero breeds come up. Maybe the post Danush generation something good can come of it. So guys, just share your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree about what I said? I just hope Rajini will not fall in the trap of following trends. It has been successful for him a lot of times as well. I don't deny that, but at times it also has backfired. Especially as I said, the soundtrack of Basha, the Michael Jackson dress up, films like Ejaman, which are literally clones of previous hit movies by the same director. So maybe the director want to do something else, but the pressure, everybody wants the team to do a proven formula, and then you got compromise films that nobody really enjoys. I think Jailer is not falling into the trap, and all the more interesting because in fact Nelson was sort of in the doldrums with what happened to Beast, and Rajini also wasn't doing so great with A.R. Murugadas, maybe a careless or overconfident handling of Darbar. So in that situation, for Rajini to have the courage to tell Nelson, you do what you know best to do, don't worry about the outcomes, and our honesty will create a good product. I think that was like how maybe a trust by God to Rajini, and he sort of did the right thing, and so he won big. For the film Vikram by Kamal, the rumor says that Lokesh was brought in by Kamal to come on to be the producer, and with Rajini as a hero. However, that project did not go through because of Kamal brought in an outside partner to produce. But I must say that Raj Kamal Films is also known to be good quality producers, at least better than Laika. So Rajini should give a chance maybe to Kamal and see where things go. I mean, if Rajini can give opportunity to people like Paranjit, so I think Kamal, even if he had a very, let's say, he had a long-term jealousy to Rajini, it's not going to be so easy to bring Rajini down to one film. So, okay, guys, enough of my, how to say, long-form talk. I would like to hear your thoughts as well. Do you think that Jailer 2 can cross 1,000 crores? Do you think there will be a Jailer 3, a Jailer universe? And do you think Coolie or Jailer 2, which will have a bigger hit, will become a bigger hit, and will there be a Coolie 2? So lots of questions for you to think about. My faith is that Jailer 2 will be a big hit due to the authenticity of the effort, and Jailer 3 might be possible provided that superstar Rajinikanth still is running on all full cylinders, and there is no other projects that's occupying him after Coolie. For example, if supremely talented directors like Prashant Neel, S. Rajamouli suddenly found something that they can work with Rajini, then these part 3 projects might get delayed. And yeah, it's fair enough because Nelson might take another 2 years to write a story. But on the flip side, Nelson and Rajini might want to go and do other projects to sort of freshen. I mean, Rajini is always doing it, but at least Nelson might want to do some other small project or to clear his mind and then come back to Jailer 3 if that is the case. And also the interesting fact that many of the Rajini directors, at least the more recent years directors, after the second film, we find that their performance with Rajini becomes shaky. The first one will be like novelty and will do well. The second one will be the peak, where both of them are sort of in the same wavelength. It becomes the biggest hit. But by the time we go to the third film, then the wariness is starting to set in. So unless it's handled carefully, then the performance of Jailer 3 might be affected somewhat. Okay, guys, thank you. Take care. See you guys soon with more news as Superstar Rajinikanth is running on full cylinder, all cylinders. Bye bye. See you later. Bye bye.